Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Help for the Guiltless. My name, of course, is Antoine. Now, I know that I stated that my next video is going to be something about Sandman. Well, unfortunately, the person that I was going to be doing the video with has been indisposed at the moment. A really good friend of mine, Anti-Hero Broadcast, he and I are going to be doing a collaboration on a Sandman video so we can share the pain amongst each other and not just me banging my head up against my desk as often as possible. Now, at the time that this comes out, it's going to be a few days before a very somber remembrance for America. It's September 11th. For those of you who do not know what September 11th is, have you been living under a goddamn rock? September 11th in America is the day that terrorists flew 2 planes into the World Trade Center. And believe it or not, I was awake for the second plane. My mum was actually awake for both. And I have met many people who have actually lost family members because of September 11th. This was not a good thing. So, this is a day of memorial. This is a day of remembrance. This is a day where we mourn the people that we lost during that tragic event. And then there are things like this. Campus discourages September 11th memorial, citing bias against Muslims. I'm sorry? Let me read that again. I must be drunk. I haven't been drinking anything, but I must be drunk. Campus discourages September 11th memorial, citing bias against Muslims. Nope. I'm as sober as the day I was born, and believe it or not, that sentence doesn't make sense. Why doesn't it make sense? Well, because fucking Muslims flew 2 planes into the goddamn World Trade Center and another plane into the Pentagon, killing hundreds of people. Hundreds of not just Americans, it was the World Trade Center. Hundreds of foreign nationals as well. Oh, but I'm sorry. We can't have that in today's day and age because it may offend someone. Fuck you. I didn't think I was going to wake up angry today. I was wrong. Administrators at Ripon College in Wisconsin have ruled that September 11th memorial cannot take place on campus because it may offend Muslim students. I honestly don't give a flying fuck if it offends them or not. Muslims flew 2 planes into the World Trade Center on September 11th. I don't give a good goddamn if it offends their sensibilities. Yes, I know. Hashtag not all Muslims. I don't fucking care. Fuck you, Ripon College. Fuck you, Wisconsin. I honestly believe that every American, red-blooded American person who is going to that college should leave. Pull your money right now and watch how fast that college goes. No, I'm sorry, come back, you can celebrate whatever you want. It's not a celebration, you fucking twits. It's a memorial. It's remembering the people that died because of your religion. The private school cited biased reports that were filed during last year's September 11th Memorial Project, a project that was part of a Young America's Foundation Iconic Patriotism Initiative, which takes place across the country on campuses every year to remember the Americans that were murdered on September 11th by religious radicals. I'm going to hammer that home as much as I can through this entire fucking article. The school's Bias Protocol Board. I'm going to read that again. The school's Bias Protocol Board. Doesn't that mean that the board itself is biased? I don't understand the use or the need for a bias protocol board. The school's bias protocol board said the project creates an environment, quote-unquote, where students from Muslim background would feel singled out and or harassed. Well, I guess they're just gonna have to fucking deal with it. As a result, Ripon students will not be allowed to hang flyers as part of their vigil to remember the victims of September 11th. That's right. You can't have candles, you can't hang flyers, you can't remember the people that died, even if they are your family members, who were taken from you viciously on September 11th, because it may make other students feel offended and singled out. Take your offense and shove it right up your religious extremist's ass. According to YAF, administrators claimed that one of their objections is because radical Islamist terrorism represents a small percentage of the terrorist attacks that happened to this country, and they don't represent the full gamut, and they show a very small picture of a specific religion or nationality instead of the larger viewpoint. Here, let me break this down for you, administrators. They are not giving a memorial for the Boston bombing. They are not giving a memorial for Waco. They are not giving a memorial for the Las Vegas shooting. They are giving a goddamn memorial for the 9/11 victims of a Muslim terrorist plot. So no, they're not trying to do any of that because it has nothing to do with that. Am I the only one that sees this as a fucking problem? We can't memorialize the victims of this attack because it may offend people. I'm sure the people who lost loved ones were fucking offended that the religious extremists decided to take it upon themselves to destroy hundreds of lives in an instant. Oh, but I'm sorry, that can't offend anybody because we're Americans. We don't have the fifis to get offended by. Let's continue on, shall we? Because I want to strangle someone already, and I'm not even a quarter of the way through this article. This attempt by Ripon College's Bias Protocol Board to sanitize the truth out of remembering the anniversary of September 11 proves the necessity of YAF's iconic 9/11 Never Forget project, as well as the need for bold YAF activists. Young America's Foundation spokesman Spencer Brown told Red Alert Politics. Red Alert Politics happens to be where I'm getting this article from. YAF's leadership in creating meaningful memorials on this important date in our nation's history ensures that the rising generation remembers the 2,977 lives lost, innocent lives lost. The administrators' reliance on feelings rather than facts betrays their intention to cower from the truth rather than highlight the scourge of radical Islamist terrorism for what it is. Evil. I can't really say there's anything wrong with that statement, because if I did, I'd be lying. There's nothing wrong with having the generation that is growing up now remember the 2,900 people that lost their lives on the day that they lost their lives. There's nothing wrong with that, especially on American college campuses. The Ripon Handbook states that the college is, let me guess, committed to free speech and diversity, and wants to create a welcoming environment for every walk of life. Wait, what does it say? Committed to the free speech and open exchange of ideas and views as reflected in the institution's core values. Oh, I was off by a bit, but I'm sure there's amendments to the diversity thing. They are committed to free speech and open exchange of ideas, but they're against a memorial These things do not mix. But this commitment requires the confrontation of challenging issues in the context of civil discourse and intellectual inquiry. Students can combat bias by participating in on-campus programming around multiculturalism, diversity, and, wait for it, social justice. See, this is why they can't have their memorial. I can guarantee that it is not Muslim students that have a problem with the 9/11 memorial. I can almost 100% guarantee that it is someone with blue hair, pink hair, green hair, bright, ugly, fucking colours in their hair, unshaved armpits, 400 pounds, a mustache, glasses, and screaming to high heaven about oppression. It has nothing to do with... They just don't want the Americans to be able to celebrate because it may offend someone. I'm sorry. I don't fucking care. You can take your social justice in this aspect, turn it fucking sideways, and shove it straight up your candy ass. That's right. I'm so pissed off. I'm quoting the goddamn Rock. We offered up alterations to the posters that would also show non-Muslim terrorist attacks, said Hannah Kruger of Ripon student and member of YAF. Even though the memorial has nothing to do with non-Muslim terrorist attacks, they wanted to kowtow to these fucks. They wanted to try and keep it going. This has nothing to do with non-Muslim terrorist attacks. It has to do with one of the biggest fucking Muslim terrorist attacks in this nation's history. The Bias Protocol Board told the students that their suggested changes would look like an afterthought, and instead suggested they make new posters of just the Twin Towers. Really? Just the Twin Towers. Alright. Can we put the Twin Towers with a plane flying towards it? I mean, if we really want to offend people, let's fucking offend people. Put up the 2 towers. And put a giant fucking plane flying towards it with a goddamn burqa on it. I would say it was heavily implied that we are not allowed to put the posters up and that we would face potential penalties. So they can't even put the poster up or else something bad was going to happen. Alright, fine. Let's continue. The next paragraph is going to be absolutely delicious. It's going to be delectable. Here comes that diversity thing I was telling you about. The Ripon Center for Diversity and Inclusion boasts of its programming surrounding International Month. The fuck is International Month? Oh, you're from across the seas. You're international. Technically, someone coming from fucking Canada is international. It's nations. Internation. God, these people are fucking stupid. International Month, Black History Month, Women's History Month, Hispanic Heritage Month, and LGBT History Month, and Culture Week, yet bans the social activism of a patriotic event remembering the deadliest terror attacks on US soil. because the attacks on white people was not diverse enough. Oh, and on top of that, a bunch of fucking brown people flew a fucking plane into a goddamn building. The handbook goes on to explain and vaguely define a quote-unquote bias incident as a behavior or act, verbal, written, or physical, which is personally directed against or targets an individual or group based on perceived or actual characteristics. You know, like the extremist Muslims that hijacked planes and flew them into fucking buildings, killing 2,900 people on September 11th, that these students want to have a memorial for. Those are actual characteristics of things that actually happened. You not letting someone have a memorial is basically saying, nope, that didn't happen. It's not important enough in our nation's history, in the history of Wisconsin, the cheese state, for it to be recognized by students who want to recognize it. I want to hurt somebody. I want to hurt somebody bad. You know, I actually want to put on a head wrap, hijack a plane, and fly it into the college. Maybe then Maybe then, when I say I'm Muslim, they'll understand. Oh, I'm sorry. That was crass. I can't be too crass. So instead, I'll strap an IED onto my chest and run towards a crowd. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. I can't do that either. Maybe I'll put a bomb in a backpack and put it during one of the biggest Boston marathons that were on history, and blow it up. The first few people who crossed. Nope. Ooh, I can't do that either. That's already been done by lots of Muslims. Extremist Muslims. I do have to make that caveat. Extremist Muslims who are terrorists on US soil. Fuck you! While hate crimes should be punished and bias generally creates a negative environment for learning and living, Americans should absolutely be biased against our enemies, especially terrorist organizations like Al-Qaeda or the Islamic State. You know, the ones who flew the planes into the buildings. Ripon's censorship of YAF's memorial is a chilling example of speech suppression, where a bipartisan, patriotic event is being shut down due to the anonymous objections of a few. It's also an example of the shocking anti-American sentiment taking place in US higher education. And it's not necessarily just anti-American sentiment, it's anti-white sentiment. Anything that has to do with white people is bad. I've talked about this before. I even did a video about the "it's okay to be white" thing. Look, let's break this down to brass tacks, shall we? A US-funded college, private college, is not allowing its American students to host a memorial about the 9/11 terrorist attacks. They are not allowing them to recognize the 2,977 people, innocent Americans who lost their lives. They are not allowing them to mourn for the people who are still mourning, to recognize the people that they lost, all because of a few individuals who are anonymous because they don't want to have their names out there, because they're not Muslim names, trust me. They're about as Muslim as Joseph Smith. This is something that should not be stopped. Now, you've heard the term, what would Jesus do? Well, this is WWAD. What would Antoine do? What would Antoine do? I'll tell you. Gather around, put up flyers, host the vigil anyway. And then, if the campus decides to do anything, like really seriously do anything, I'm not talking about detention, I'm talking about expulsion or taking away scholarships or grants or whatever. It's quite simple. Put them on the news. You see, right around this time, people start getting very fucking patriotic. There are a few times in this country that happens. July 4th, one of the big ones. Everyone likes watching things explode in the air, and if they make pretty colors, all that much better. 9/11? That's another time that people get extremely patriotic, because it was the time that America as a country was wounded. It was a time where the millions of people that were in this country took pause and realized that we were just attacked. To have an American campus so vehemently be against this is a slap in the face of all of the survivors, of all of the people who lost friends, family. It is a slap in the face of every goddamn American that was alive at that point in time. And if you don't think so, imagine when they start cancelling other things because it may offend a few. Host the vigil anyway. Make your voices heard. Tell the campus bias committee to turn it sideways and sit on it. And those are my thoughts, folks. I'd love to know yours. Let me know in the comments. If you want more of me, there are 2 other ways that you can do that. You can watch my shows on Sunday and Monday, Caffeinated to Die and Army of Snarkness, where I'm joined by Sparky in the morning, as well as Antihero Broadcast, and Monday when I'm joined by Sarah and the trio. Or, if you really want the fun to continue, the second option is there's a link down below to Discord. You can join me there. And if you'd like to support the channel, there are links down below for PayPal, Streamlabs, and if you really want to support the channel, Patreon. Now, I am going to be reworking the rewards, so there is some things that are going to be changing, so keep your eyes open. So, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening. This has been Help for the Guildless. My name, of course, is Antoine, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening.